deciding to rape me. And that's it.
So I have an announcement. It looks like the animals were chasing each other, and they ran over the plug that connects the router to the electricity, to the hydrant. And they pulled it out of its socket, and the router went kaboom dead. So yeah, I just reconnected it, and we can just carry on.
I don't know if I mean, sorry for everyone that is like maybe offended that we're sort of being flippant about rape. This is definitely a serious topic, and
yeah, I
really
agree.
Be joked about.
But
it's a
good example. It's a great example because it's personal.
It does happen.
It's a very personal thing,
right?
And yeah, it does happen. So it's not like we're making up a fake hypothetical here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think my point is a strong one, that the John Buck who gets raped versus the John Buck who isn't raped. If you're a Christian, both those John Bucks still go to heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason
it still
that
makes...
one was raped versus the other is because Biff Tannen decided to rape somebody.
Right. But my point is this: whether you're raped or not, you're going to get the same compensation.
Right. Yeah. And so, as we sort of brought up earlier, the difference between the Doug that doesn't allow his children to do anything that violates his will versus the Doug that does allow his children to do certain things that violates his will. The one that does allow this sort of permissibility, even to do things that Doug really doesn't like, is the morally greater version of Doug than the one that like locks them down and doesn't allow them to leave the house.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's a different topic to this whole idea that God is morally justified to just not intervene and just watch. Your argument was, well, but you'll be compensated. And so God is morally justified to not intervene because he will make everything right in the end. But I think in order for you to be consistent, you would have to say the John Buck that's not raped should be compensated less than the John Buck that was raped. Because you went through the raping. The John Buck that went through the raping needs to be compensated more for the John Buck who didn't go through that bad thing.
Okay, sure. And it's just the case that for the person that went through the rape, they're going to still achieve the same end, the same result. And it's just the person the John Buck that didn't get raped, I'm getting a greater amount of abundance in the afterlife than... So it's not the case that I earned or deserved to have this great amount of abundance of happiness.
You'll be getting less than the John Buck.
No. We have the same amount. It's just that I'm getting it in an additional way. Like, God's like, look, all that you really deserved was this amount of happiness. I'm going to give you this amount of happiness because I love you that much. And the same person, I deserve this amount of happiness, and God gave me that amount of happiness. And so it's the same level. It's just one person is like overcompensated, whereas one person is just compensated. And that's like a sort of reductive account of like heaven. I'm just bringing it up as the example of like one aspect.
But it's still better not to be raped, though, right?
Yeah, that's why it's wrong for Biff to go about raping me.
Yeah, we're all agreed about that. But anyhow.
Yeah.
What else?
This was great talking to you.
Yeah.
I gotta head out. But yeah, this was fun. Yeah, I might just go back and just see what you were saying about me earlier.
Well, yeah, I played just 5 minutes of the clip of our interaction.
I'm not too sure that Doug did pick up on this because he never got the guy to admit to the fact that God could have stopped the rape. Superman could have stopped the rape, but nobody did anything. So if Superman is bad for not stopping the rape, then so is God evil and bad for not stopping the rape. But these Christians are so blinded by their faith, which is really sad. It's a sad situation to see and to to observe. But it is what it is. Reality is reality.
Which I've never done before, but it was really interesting and fun.
Yeah, it's funny because like just earlier today, I was re-listening to our conversation, and I was actually kind of happy with how, even though I'm like still not somebody that has done an extensive amount of research onto like the various defenses of hell and God's interaction and God's relationship to evil and all of that. I think I did decently given the lack of preparation. But
well, yeah, you just got to read more of those books behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of these days I'll pick one of them out. Like,
I'm sure.
Wow.
I'm sure that the problem of evil's in there somewhere.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's around here somewhere.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it was great. It was great talking to you, Doug. You have a great rest of your week.
Okay. Take care, John. That was interesting. What are people talking about in live stream chat? Doug thinks like a finance guy, not God. Yeah, God's pretty bad at his taxes. What kind of deductions does God have? Please make a clip out of this after. It's a good one. Yeah, the Superman thought experiments are pretty fun. I just don't buy that. Superman's an asshole for not intervening, but God isn't because he can pay you back later. But he's going to pay you back no matter what if you're a Christian. So what exactly justifies God from not intervening? And with the real problem of evil, none of this would have happened if God chose not to create. Right? Everybody agrees with that. That's just science. The room's open if anybody wants to hop in. Doug, I'm your biggest fan. I follow you until you love me. I don't love strangers. I love my wife, my kids, and Larry David. Babis. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
My English is not perfect.
Say again.
My English are not perfect.
Your Englishes are not perfect. Oh, okay. That's fine. What would you want to talk about?
Well, is there a particular theme of today's conversation?
The theme is the problem of evil, but I'm getting feedback, and I really don't like it when people hop in and just don't know what to talk about. So you got to have a purpose in life.
Okay. Yes. So let's talk about the problem of evil. Is there something that actually I have created a worldview in my mind, so I don't know which part of this you actually disagree with. So would you like to talk about a particular problem of evil, and I can explain whatever you want?
No, not really.
Okay.
So have a good day.
So would you like to talk about why do...
Let me ask you simple yes or no questions since your English is not good. Do you believe a God exists?
Yes.
Do you believe this God is all-knowing?
Yes.
All-powerful?
Yes.
Do you believe this God has free will?
Yes.
Do you believe this God hates sin?
Yes.
Okay, so my question to you is why would God create if he knows that his creation will result in something he hates?
Right. So he actually doesn't hate his creation, but he hates the action. So he creates us because he gives us the ability to choose whatever if we want to choose the moral way or the immoral way.
Has nothing to do with the free will of humans, because this God knows that people will choose to do things that will lead to sin. But would there be any sin if God didn't create?
He saved many people from sin by
I don't care about that.
Lives.
Would there be any sin if God didn't create?
No, but he would be alone because.
Whoa! What does it matter if God's alone or not?
Actually, I don't know about why it would matter or not, but
does God get lonely?
I don't think so.
Right. So he doesn't need to create, right?
Well, why is that the problem if it's our choice that we choose it?
Because God hates sin, and he knew with 100% certainty that if he did create, it would lead to something that he hates. He doesn't want people to perish. Yet, if you believe in the traditional view of hell, people will perish if he creates. He doesn't want people to perish. He knows if he creates, people will perish. It's a problem. It's a contradiction.
And that's why he came here as Jesus.
Doesn't matter. That Jesus has nothing to do with it, because if God didn't create, Jesus would not be needed to come to save people from their sins.
Yes, but you are saying that from the point of view that it has already happened. So
you're right.
Happened if it hadn't have happened.
Right. What I'm talking about is from the perspective of before creation. God has a choice: create or not create. Now. Yes. Now you're coming from the perspective of, well, creation's already here, so now we just got to explain it. Yeah. But I'm saying, I'm using this as an internal critique to say maybe your God doesn't exist. Maybe he didn't create. Maybe we exist and he didn't create.
Yes, but the fact that we have the ability to choose good and evil, and some people choose evil, doesn't mean that he doesn't exist. Even if you consider
human free will is irrelevant to this argument. Human free will is irrelevant to this argument.
Yes, what happens in the end matters. So you say that why did he create the world if he knew that many people would go to hell? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and sin.
Yes. Well, I actually do not see any problem with it, because when you go to hell, it's not that God just punishes you. It's a mirror of what you have done, the mirror of yourself. The hell is just whatever you have done, evil, not anything more.
Everything you're saying now is irrelevant to the argument. Name me something you hate. Name something you really, really hate.
The president of my country.
The what?
The president of my country.
The president of your country?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say you were in control of whether this president would ever be born or not. So let's say you knew his parents, the president's parents. Let's say you're old enough to know them. And you could have stopped them from having this president exist, or you could have chosen to allow it to happen.
So what I would do is I would try to intervene in his upbringing so that I could change the way he thinks to not cause suffering to many people. And I would also...
Why go through all that work? Why not just prevent him from being born in the first place?
Because it is actually his choice to do. Politicians have free will too.
Right.
So I might like many things that they do, but they do it. So I have to deal with them. And I have free will to not vote for him again.
Yeah, I don't think...
in the first place.
I don't think you're getting what I'm saying, but Prince Mesh, I've heard your name before. Where have I heard your name before?
I'll be stalking you.
Oh yeah, you're a subscriber, right? Or you are in my live stream chat a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say?
I was listening to the previous guy there with the when talking about rape. I think you made a pretty good case, but I've been trying to make this a case also that atheists might be or are a little bit morally superior than some religious people, just by the virtue of them, like the gentleman just casually worships a god that wouldn't intervene during a rape.
Yeah. Well, I understand what he's saying, that it could lead to better outcomes, but in the hypothetical where we know it doesn't, he basically has to appeal to heaven, right? Yeah, that you'll get compensated. But even then, every Christian is compensated, whether they are raped or not. So it seems like the compensation for the person who's raped is, they don't get anything extra out of it. It's just, they're just the person who's unlucky enough to be raped. And God,
Right.
and the funny thing is, John very quickly called Superman an asshole. You notice that?
He did.
But he can't call God an asshole. Just can't go there.
Right, and I think just for that reason, like I'm willing to call God an asshole just for the fact of, but he just won't go there.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me a little bit more superior morally.
And his reason for not calling God an asshole was, well, God can pay me back. Superman can't. I mean, it's almost like there's a type of selfishness in there. Okay, I'm willing to get sodomized as long as I get that money at the end. It's like,
right.
It's almost like, John, don't be offended if you ever hear this, but it's almost like you're a whore for God. Like, I will take this rape because I'm being compensated.
Right. I mean, even the compensation is not for certain. Like, we don't know that. It's,
right.
Right.
Yeah. You Christians listening right now, you better hope heaven's real, because if there's no compensation for all that horrible stuff that's happened to you, where God could have intervened and didn't, man, you're screwed. Literally.
Yeah. So I saw back in Kenya where I'm from, there was this bus that was shipping people from whatever and going to a point B, but they had to cross this flooded bridge, and the bus was like full. I don't know.
I saw that.
People. Yeah. And then I was talking to my mom, and I was like, "Hey, how come the Holy Spirit didn't intervene there?" And she's like, those are not real Christians,
Oh.
And they're Catholic, So they're like, really? They're not Christians? That's why.
So
I mean, I just kind of.
God's more likely to intervene with Protestants.
Yes.
What about Mormons? Where does God draw the line? Oh.
Yeah, I talk to Mormons a lot, quite a bit. So they're just.
Yeah, I watched that on YouTube just a couple weeks ago, where the bus is going through a flooded area, and you can slowly see it, and it's full of kids, right? Or some, I don't know. It's full of people.
It was actually a choir.
A choir.
Going to a wedding. Yeah.
Okay, so the bus starts to skid off the bridge and slowly tips and falls upside down into a deep river, and I'm assuming everybody drowned, if not most people. And if Superman was there, he would have saved them. But God, he's there, and he didn't.
But then, was it John? He would say, "Oh, maybe the good thing happened because now the government will kind of go in there and fix that bridge, right?"
Yeah.
But it's quite sad, but yeah.
And, and I understand the butterfly effect. If God intervened every time, then everything would be different. But the thing is, if there's this concept of hell out there, and all the earthly pain and suffering, sure, good things can happen out of some things. All this could have just not have existed. I mean, what's with the charade? Just do away with existence of humans, of anything outside of God, and just let God exist in three persons for eternity. What's bad about that?
Why, we would never miss it, right?
Yeah, none of us would complain, "Oh God, why didn't you create me? I want to smell the flowers." Like, none of that wouldn't happen.
Right.
Oh, well. Anyhow, Prince, thanks for hopping on. You play
Yeah,
poker?
sure, thanks. No, I just
Got
need
money?
some money though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, learn how to play poker, earn some money, and then you can be part of the elite.
For sure.
On Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific. But take care,
All
Prince.
right. Take it easy.
Yeah. Any Christians want to come on and put me in my place? Feel free. I'll give you 2 minutes. Oh, Tux. Tux. Hang on a second. You can hear me, right? Why? You got an interesting camera. Let me turn you up here. Let me screen capture you. So what do you have to say, Tux? Tux is part of the elite.
Good afternoon. Afternoon for me, it might be almost noon for you.
Is it true that you're evil because you're bald?
I am evil because I was born of this world, and Satan rules the physical world, therefore I am of Satan.
Yeah. Put your mic a little closer to your mouth. You're a little quiet. So what's your opinion of all this evil stuff? And John Buck?
Yeah, John was pretty interesting. I just wish that there was a way to convey and to be listened to by the Christian that I never feel like God really did bring us the word. You've got Mount Sinai, God gives Moses the word, Moses trashes the word, hey, we're going to redo it. And it takes 3 times in the Bible to pretty much figure out whether or not etched in stone the covenant and commandments are perfectly clear. Right?
Yeah.
Jesus comes and walks and talks the earth. He dies, he rises, and what does he do? He rushes right out and commissions his work. No, he doesn't do that. He goes and he gets Paul/Saul in a vision. And finally, we got a forebearer for the Word of God. Amazing. How amazing this God and Jesus is.
Okay, but what do you say to the Roman Catholics out there? Because they're not sola scriptura types. They basically could agree with a lot of things where you're headed to with misinterpretations and errors in the Bible. And they say, that's fine, but we got the Pope. We got the true church. On Christ, the solid rock I stand. And the rock is the Catholic Church, and they make the correct decisions. We got the Holy Spirit. What do you say to those types?
Well, it's a good thing God did a bang-up job in the first place for that foundation to certainly rest on. I mean, you can claim that it was from God, but there's no receipt that it is.
Yeah, I like that. Let's have the Pope present a receipt from God saying that the Pope has been purchased to have that position. Good point. You want to play poker today?
Maybe. I'm responsible for dinner. It depends on what time you're having it. So I'll...
Okay, well, I'll keep you in mind. I'll send you a link later, and then if you show, you show.
Yeah, got to make some sausage and peppers and enjoy the company of the mother-in-law for at least a duration.
Do you like your mother-in-law?
I do.
Okay, well, that's good. Hey, and thanks for the generous donation earlier. Your
Once a year.
tithes.
It's all yours.
Tithes and offerings. Appreciate it.
I'm
Okay.
totally capping it there at 20 because I'm a wealthy man. Well, not a wealthy man. I just got Pine Creek $20 a year money.
Are you overall up or down in poker?
We'll check with Reed, but I feel like I'm up. Feels because there's the gambler's memory is always remembering the wins and not the losses.
Yeah.
But I think I'm up. I don't know how much though. I've had good days and I've had bad days. I think last week, both times that I played a good majority of the time, and then the very last hand won a pretty good amount, either all my winnings back or then some.
I can't say that I'm much
Most
of a
the time I'm up.
poker player either. Miss
Every once in a while, I just
Sidney.
stop in and play on tilt, knowing that I'm going to lose, and I only play $20.
Well, whenever you have a bad poker day, don't worry, because the poker gods will compensate you in the future.
That's true.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
Anyhow, Tux, I
I'll
get.
be looking down. Someday I'll be looking down at all the other people without poker chips, thinking, that is when you got your due.
Yeah. Okay, I got to run here, Tux. Thanks for hopping
Cheers.
in. Okay. I see some good comments in the live stream chat. Start the music, Myron. Pine Creek, you just do these videos to get people to play poker with you, don't you? Yes, that's correct. Good one. Bring the poker players into the fold.
I have an issue with my camera here.
Good to see you here, Oak River.
I'll
River
let
runs, actually, Pine Creek feeds Oak River.
I'll let Pine Creek run for a bit until I see if I can get my camera fixed. I don't know why
The
it's not
source
working.
of water of Oak River comes from Pine Creek. Someone else wants in here, but I think I've had enough.
Okay, I do believe I got it working. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doug. Pine Creek Doug. That was awesome. Bloody awesome. And thank you guys for watching. But the thing is that now that Pine Creek Doug has had his show, I can admire. So my challenge today, I have two challenges, I guess. The one that I usually hammer out there is all gods are imaginary. Prove me wrong. But today it's different. Today it is. I better throw it up on the screen. Not that one. Yeah. So today it is. Sidney Winston is claiming that the Christian God is not a brute fact. Prove me wrong. Okay. So if there's anyone out there that would like to take on the challenge, or failing that, just come and chat, because it is a, what's today? It's Sunday. It's Sunday the 5th of December. Welcome to the Sunday the 5th of December. You know what's nice about a Sunday? Is that these kind of rooms, we could just come in and chat about stuff. I'll stop in a bit. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will bring in some news to read if no one joins to chat. I bet you'd like that, right? So I'm going to go look for some news. Tell me, what is your favorite news provider? Well, my favorite is the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, otherwise known online as the CBC, or cbc.ca/news. So let me figure out exactly how to bring this to you. Pain-free, of course. And then I'll there we go. I think I see something. Oh, I see something in the background. Looks like a page. Okay, okay. All right, one more. Just give me one moment, please. Again, another page I wasn't expecting to deal with again, but it's no problem. It is no problem whatsoever. No problem, at least that cannot be solved. All right. So I'll do that. There we go. I think this will be just peachy. Oh, this is definitely worth waiting for. Look, here we go. Let's figure this out. Okay. So the news from CBC. Let's see some headlines here. What does it say? Travel rules eased for Canadians stranded in South Africa, but criticism of broader ban persists. Yeah, I don't think you. Oh, there's a sub headline here. Malawi's president says travel ban based on emotion rather than science. You know what I think about that? You know, you do want to know what I think about that, right? Well, okay. All right. Okay, I'll tell you. About this travel ban thing. What I think, and I have turned to, if you go to a YouTube channel titled Dr. John Campbell. Okay, just go to a YouTube channel, Dr. John Campbell. That's where I get my information from. Today's information I get is regarding the new variant. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want any algorithms taking me out of context and causing me issues. So, the latest variant is apparently spreading so quickly. Number one, the effects are so mild. Number two, that the conclusion is that herd immunity will be reached very quickly because it's going to spread around the whole world. Never mind about travel ban, doesn't matter. Everybody's going to get, it's going to be everywhere. And herd immunity will take effect fairly soon, within a matter of weeks, apparently. This is the conjecture that I heard. So within a matter of weeks, let's say 2 months, 3 months, herd immunity, it's going to be a horrific winter if that's the case. But still, if the effects are mild, maybe it won't be so horrific. I don't know. Maybe it'll be horrific for certain compromised immunity groups. So I'll keep you I don't think I'm going to read the whole thing. I'll just keep you informed about that at some point when it changes significantly. Okay. What else we got? Your police fire water cannons, tear gas as COVID-19 protest in Belgian capital turns violent. No, not in Belgium. Have you ever known Belgium to actually be non-violent? At least in the modern era? Well, obviously, in order for it to be separated from, was it the Dutch Netherlands? And it was something, I don't know, Flanders, or I don't know what it was. But it somehow became its own country. I need to brush up on my history about that. Moving right along. Canada ramps up COVID testing at airports. Man, that actually makes the front page of the fucking news. Can you believe it? The many reasons for vaccine hesitancy require many solutions, not a sledgehammer approach, say experts. What else we got? Oh, these are the page headlines, right, that I'm reading. UK study finds mRNA COVID-19 vaccines provide biggest booster impact. Oh. What does that mean, actually? mRNA. I had an mRNA. That means if you have a mRNA booster, you get a better impact than if you have a non-mRNA booster, I suspect. But I don't think that's really got my interest. How about you? Let's see. Canadians 50 and over should get, oh, here we go, COVID-19 booster shot. National Immunization Committee says. Oh, everything's by committee. Yeah, so I guess this will be passed on to another committee for another shot at the committee meeting solution, right? Catholic priest accused of impregnating residential school student in 1940s, a known predator, CBC finds. Aha! I have my news item. The dirty, disgusting Catholic Church, yet again in the news. Oh! Oh! Oh, 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 oh dear. Open secret. This could be. Okay, you should move small children and teenagers out of the room, because this could be traumatic. And if you don't, and if you yourself have suffered trauma, you should maybe leave the room yourself. Public service announcement from Sidney, Winston, about the upcoming news report that I'm about to read, or that I'm about to show you. I'm kind of depressed already just thinking about this thing. Anyway, here we go. Oh shit! What happened to my? I'm not trying to put this off, but I'm gonna fix it up. Should do it. Okay. So, open secret: a Roman Catholic priest accused of impregnating a Cree girl at a residential school in northern Manitoba in the 1940s was known in the area as a predator to multiple girls and women. The story is on CBC by Kate Adak, November 29th, 2021. Randall Petagon's hands shake as he holds a nearly 100-year-old portrait of a Roman Catholic priest. The man's eyes are familiar. Petagon's mom had the same stare. It sends chills right down my spine, he said. Feels like seeing a ghost. Petagon, now 42, had spent decades imagining what the priest might look like and how the cleric's actions both created and disrupted his life. Only recently did Petagon learn that the St. Boniface Historical Society archives in Winnipeg held photos of the light-eyed priest. As a kid, Petagon's own green eyes made him a black sheep among his family. He, his sister, and their late mother all shared a lighter complexion than their Cree relatives in Norway House, Manitoba. As if that wasn't enough to set them apart, Petagon said relatives went out of their way to make them feel like outsiders. The siblings couldn't understand why. I was always called the bastard child, said Petagon. Looking back, The slurs, he says, were hurled at him, and his sisters hinted at the source of the family's rage. An aunt called me and my brother dirty little Frenchmen, said Apetigon's older sister Camille. Randolph said others called him Pacuayes, meaning French, and Catholic in the local Cree dialect Ininomowin. It wasn't until the siblings were well into adulthood that they learned the origin of the insults and animosity. My mom finally told me everything when she was dying, Camille said. On her deathbed, their mother, Mary Apetigon, revealed that Grandpa Willie, the man they'd been taught was their grandfather, wasn't. Their biological grandfather, she said, was a French-Canadian named Reverend Father Albert Chamberlain, a former principal at a residential school where their grandmother had been a student. They were descendants, Mary Apetigon said, of a Roman Catholic priest. A mother's secret. Therese Evans, Mary's mother, was only a teenager when she got pregnant. Although her experience is central to this story, little is known about Evans' early life. This is Therese. She was born in Norway House in 1931, and her family today describes Evans' childhood home as turbulent. They say Evans' mother had to give her up to the church, that she was orphaned and raised by the nuns at a residential school overseen by Reverend Father Albert Chamberlain in an undated photo. From the Société Historique de Saint-Boniface archives. This is him. More than 70 years later, the timeline and details surrounding the teen's pregnancy remain unclear. Records held by the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation show that Evans attended a Norway House Agency residential school from 1943 to 1946. From age 12 to 15, Randall Apetigon said it was during those years that Chamberlain started molesting her. I think I'm just going to bring this a little bit more into focus like that, okay? Multiple community members told CBC that Evans became pregnant by Chamberlain while she was attending residential school, yet the birth certificate for her daughter, Mary Apetigon, is dated August the 9th, 1949. A few years after Evans was last recorded at the school. The baby's father is listed as William Apetigon. A note added to Evans's baptism record, held at the St. Boniface Historical Society archive, says she and William married in 1949. Randall and Camille say the church forced the pair to wed. Church officials lied to Williams's parents, Camille said, claiming he had impregnated Evans, when it was the priest who got my grandma pregnant. Here's a picture of Therese and William. Mary's cousin, Mona Clark, remembers attending the wedding, a ceremony at the Anglican Church with a reception at Williams's parents' home. Clark was just a young child then, but remembers the boat ride to the party, rows of men and women line dancing together, and the feeling of sitting in her nanny's rocking chair while cradling her baby cousin, Mary. She was so cute, said Clark, 76. Clark grew up with the understanding that Mary's biological father was Reverend Chamberlain, but she said it was hardly spoken about outside of private conversations. CBC News reached out to the Archdiocese of Keewatin-Lapar for an interview about these allegations. Archbishop Murray Chatelain declined an interview but replied to CBC by email saying, in part, quote, "I am profoundly saddened to read about these allegations. I had no awareness of this family's concerns prior to your email. I take them extremely seriously," unquote. Who was Chamberlain? A CBC investigation uncovered that the priest at the center of this paternity question had a long career with the Roman Catholic Church and was known in Norway House as a predator to multiple girls and men. Reverend Chamberlain was the head of the Roman Catholic mission in Norway House at the time of Evans's pregnancy. He served for more than 50 years with the Archdiocese of Keewatin-Lapar as a mission director and residential school principal in communities across northern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Here's a photo of Chamberlain, seen in 1947 in Poplar River, Manitoba. Do you see he has his hands on the shoulders of a young child? Do any of the people in this picture and photo look happy? The St. Boniface Historical Society archive has more than 6 photos of Chamberlain, spanning his life from his 20s to his 80s. Opening a folder of old photos in the archive reading room recently, Randolph was floored by a picture of Chamberlain in his mid-20s. "It hits you in the gut," Randolph said. "It's like I'm looking in a mirror or something. Because I know that expression, that face, I've seen it. I've seen these features my whole life." An obituary reveals Chamberlain was born April 10th, 1901, in Saint Philippe de Neri, a small parish municipality in Quebec. He became ordained as a priest in 1926 and spent most of a half-century in northern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. He retired to Quebec in 1980 and died 4 years later. The obituary describes Chamberlain, in French, as a generous soul who served in residential schools and had a, quote, "love for the poor," unquote. CBC reviewed multiple documents from that era, including correspondence between Chamberlain and Indian Affairs and the Archdiocese newsletter La Courrière du Keewatin. As principal of the Cross Lake Residential School in 1941, Chamberlain wrote in English, "When one deals with the Indian problem, he has to keep in mind that not only one aspect of their mentality, but to a certain extent, all of their nature have to be changed," unquote. In 1946, Chamberlain wrote in French about the Cree community of Norway House with a seeming mix of exasperation and self-congratulation at his ability to, quote, "endure with patience their nonsense," unquote. Excuse me. In 1963, while serving as principal of the Guy Hill Residential School, a roughly 400-kilometer drive west of Norway House, Chamberlain appeared briefly on CBC television in a news story about the educational goals of residential schools. At one point, the reporter asks Chamberlain, "Do you think there's a danger of making a bum out of the Indian if we give him too much?" Well, definitely, Chamberlain replied. "I don't think we should give to any capable, able to work Indian a nickel free for nothing," he said. Altogether, Chamberlain spent at least 16 years in Norway House. More than half-century later, remaining community members still harbor allegations against him, beyond that of impregnating Therese Evans. Mona Clark remembers her mother saying Chamberlain got fresh with a young woman when they went swimming. The woman had intended to become a nun, but gave up, Clark said, to steer clear of the priest. John Henry Jr., assistant to the chief and council of Norway House Cree Nation, said he spoke to an elder in Norway House this summer who claimed his late wife had been sexually assaulted by Chamberlain as a child. Henry Muswagon, 80, said Chamberlain was, quote, involved, unquote, in Evans's pregnancy and was known for, quote, approaching women, unquote, in ways that, quote, shouldn't be done by a priest, unquote. He said Chamberlain was relocated out of the community shortly after another woman complained to a bishop, quote, "I don't know if she got pregnant," unquote, Muswagon said. When asked whether the archdiocese knew of any allegations against the priest, Archbishop Chatelain, in his statement to CBC, said, quote, "We are unaware of any files that allude to this situation," unquote. These secrets will continue to come out. In the Catholic Church, clergy take a lifelong vow of celibacy. Yet worldwide, increasing numbers of people are speaking out as the children of priests and bishops. Vincent Doyle, a psychotherapist in Ireland, is convinced there are at least 15,000 children of clergy around the world. He calls that a conservative estimate, the bottom rung of the ladder. Doyle was in his late 20s when he learned his own biological father was a Roman Catholic priest. Frustrated, he wondered how many other families held the same secret. So he started Coping International, a charity to support priests' children. He says he has since heard from thousands of people with similar experiences. The Pentagon story reflects a global pattern, said Doyle, where the church try and shoo a pregnancy away and arrange it in a marriage. We have cases of that exact type in Cameroon, in Kenya, in America, in Ireland. In Doyle's view, the Catholic Church has long been complicit in emotional child abuse through imposed silence, denial, and neglect of priests' descendants. He believes the Apetagons and others in their position deserve access to free psychological counseling so that they can tell their story without judgment and begin to work through their trauma. In his book, Our Fathers, Doyle describes reaching out to numerous bishops' conferences advocating for them to provide mental health support for descendants. A common response he's received: bishops would be willing to meet with those who have concerns. This echoes the response the Archdiocese of Keewatin-Lapar sent to CBC. I will not hesitate to meet with the family to better understand their situation and explore ways that the diocese can assist them moving forward. Archbishop Chatelain's email also notes that while these allegations are historic in nature, it's important for me to reassure congregants that the Archdiocese now has policies in place to protect children, youth, and vulnerable adults, as well as review and respond to allegations of Catholic Church clergy abuse or Roman Catholic Church clergy inappropriate behavior. Doyle believes the Catholic Church needs to come up with a more robust response for families like the Apatagons. These secrets will continue to come out, he said. There's no way you can stop it, control it, curb it. With the low cost of home DNA kits and the accessibility of online genealogical services, a growing number of people are finding connections to clergy within their bloodline, Doyle said. Less than $100, the secret's out, and it's grandkids often who are doing the unearthing of these issues. Could there be others? Excited to share what he'd found at the St. Boniface Historical Society archives, Randall Apatagon went straight to his sister's place in Winnipeg. Camille was out, but his niece, Gillian Apatagon, invited him in, eager to see the photos. Look at that one, Gillian exclaimed, seeing her grandmother Mary's features in the black and white portrait of Chamberlain that her uncle had pulled up on a laptop. She had his nose, his mouth, his chin. That was his daughter. Gillian, 25, wiped tears from her eyes. It's insane, she said. I never thought I'd see these ever. I thought he'd just be a mystery our whole lives. Gillian grew up hearing that a priest by the name of Chamberlain was her great-grandfather, but none of her immediate family knew what he looked like. I didn't even know where to begin looking, Camille said later about finding information on Chamberlain. She'd feared any related documentation might have burned in a residential school fire. When she saw the photos that night, she didn't doubt her mother's story for an instant. Like, WTF? Like, holy, he looks like my mum, she said, of seeing his picture for the first time. Chamberlain had the same piercing stare, Camille said. The nose, the eyes, the bum, chin. Before she died, Mary told Camille that she'd met the priest briefly when she was a young child in the 1950s. Camille recalled her mother telling her that nuns took her hand and pointed her out to Chamberlain, saying, "This is the one." According to Camille, Mary told her, "I remember looking up at this man. He was a husky man." Randall had a similar experience as a kid, the first time he visited a school run by the Roman Catholic Church in Norway House. He found himself confused by how the nuns treated him. It was the mid-1980s, a year or two after Chamberlain had died, and Randall was about 6 years old. He remembers the nuns swarming him when he arrived, touching his head, hugging him, and cooing, "That's Mary's boy! That's Mary's boy!" They knew something about me that I didn't know. he said, today he wonders what or who else the church may have kept secret. When he looks at Chamberlain's obituary and the long list of communities the priest worked in over his 54-year career, Randall can't help but wonder how many more people he fathered. It's mind-boggling, he said. There's our mom, and then there's the possibility of others. Randall and his family continue to have questions the archives alone can't answer. But they're hopeful it's only a matter of time before the others with similar experiences come forward. For many years, indigenous people were shut down, Randall said. But now the secrets are being revealed, right? With files from Cameron McIntosh, I'll just want to say one more time, give credit to the author of this wonderful piece, Kate Adak, November 29, 2021. And at the bottom here, let's see if there's any. Support is available for anyone affected by their experience at residential schools and those who are triggered by these reports. A national Indian residential school crisis line has been set up to provide support for residential school survivors and others affected. People can access emotional and crisis referral services by calling the 24-hour National Crisis Line 1-866-925-4419. This is referring to the damage inflicted upon the Canadian Native Indian population of ripping young children out of their family nucleus, throwing them into a Catholic doctrinal run school on the outside, but on the inside is a can you imagine an institution run by the Catholic Church and you're part of it and you have nowhere else to go, no one to turn to? You're ripped out of your family nucleus in your Native Indian community where you were speaking your native language. You're thrown into this almost a concentration camp with others where you are given rules that you can't speak your language, you have to learn English. You have these nuns with their very fear-mongering habits, the uniforms. Hell, man. I understand what these residential kids went through. It's their little concentration camps. And they died. The Catholic Church killed the native Indian children here in Canada over 150-year period. Wow, I'm sorry, but that's horrible. Man, that is just horrible. So, does anyone want to come talk about that? You can join by phone if you don't want to join with the app. A lot of people say that, another fucking app. I hate technology. I'd rather make a phone call. Well, you can. If you're in North America, you have this number on the screen to dial and the PIN number on the screen to add. If you're just listening and you want to call in and you're in North America, get your phone, and put in this number. You ready? I'll give you another minute. I'll give you another second, 5, 10, 15 seconds, whatever you want. Okay, you got your phone. It's 226 314 8544. I will repeat. 226. Uh-oh, I fucked up. Delete everything. I'm not sure what I said the first time, but I'm pretty sure I didn't say 314. I think I said 814. So delete and start again. 226 314 8544. I guess I have to repeat it one more time. 226 314 8544. So yeah, come on in. Should I look for other news about the Catholic Church? Because that was a doozy for the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is disgusting. Yuck. What do you think? You know what? I really, 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 really dislike the Catholic Church. I loathe the Catholic Church. I think that the Catholic Church, I believe, violates antitrust laws in every single country on the planet. They should be broken up. The Catholic Church should be broken up. What's this fucking central office in Rome? You know, bullshit. Roman Empire is now gone. Bye-bye. And so should the Catholic Church be gone. Bye-bye. I'm disgusted with the Catholic Church. Yeah. Tom, in the side chat, mentions how Christopher Hitchens exposed the atrocities of Mother Teresa. And we call them atrocities because, well, they are. But in the Catholic Church, Mother Teresa is a saint. For committing atrocities, you become a saint in the Catholic Church? It seems so, because the Catholic Church has such a sordid history of evil towards one's fellow human being. Evil. Ugh. Disgusting. Anyway, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize I was going to read this long preamble there. So, and I didn't have my cup of orange juice, my glass of orange juice with me. So now I'm going to go and get the said glass of orange juice. And I will leave you for a few minutes, hopefully with a tune or two. A tune or two. I'll tell you something. That was cold right out of the fridge. But you notice that I was getting croaky? And I wasn't, I was deciding. I was kind of hesitant. What should I do? Should I keep on reading until the end and then go get my juice? Or should I stop reading and then get the juice and then come back? I decided maybe it was a wrong decision to keep on reading till the end of the croaky section and get my juice because my throat was dry. It still is actually a little bit, so I'm gonna have some more. This stuff is ice cold. Ah, but you know what? It's so satisfying. It's so thirst quenching. It's so throat coating or throat wetting. Actually, the best thing would be having a tea with honey and lemon. That's what I should. There you go. You know what? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You guys are the first to hear this. Maybe a certain segment of every show will be a reading of some sort. And for that, I need to have my tea with honey and lemon ready. So make a note of that on the office chalkboard. Hey, don't forget you can come in anytime. I know you're scared, but I promise you I'll lead you through it. I'll lead you through it slowly, step by step. I'll make you repeat every step if necessary so that to make sure that you understand. Coming online is really not that scary, especially on the Sidney Winston channel. You got to admit it. The proof is in the pudding, as they say in Italy. Or, I don't know. All right. Tell you what, let's go find something else to read now that my throat is not all croaky. Or would you like to? Ooh, hold on a second. I had something lined up to react to, didn't I? Guess what? I just discovered something on the CBC. Generation COVID. Okay, Generation COVID is children who have known nothing but the pandemic. That's a headline. I'm not going to go in and read it, but I've never noticed that before. Okay, so that was the front page of the CBC. So I'm going to now go to my local provincial news. See if there's anything there. Hopefully, because I kind of want to play a video rather, and a reaction video maybe, huh? Well, local news is all about weather. Apparently, we're getting snow, but I think I'm at too much of a lower level, closer to the sea level, than the snow level. I hope. I don't know. Yeah, let's go see what's. Let's go see what's happening in the realm of reaction videos, or videos to react to. Are you okay with that? Or do you want to come in and chat? I'd rather you guys come in and chat, but at the same time, if you don't, I have things that I want to that I would like to there we go. React to and stuff. I just can't remember what
One rule is just don't preach.
there we go. There's something. Oh, okay. So this is a yeah, might as well go into this. This is a retro hangout. Let me make what have we got here? VLC. Let me just bring it in. Again, another one I didn't expect to run into, but such is the way of the world. Okay, so this is a retro hangout that ran way back when, a while back. So let me just do that. Okay. It was essentially the first time I brought in the concept or brought in this comparison here. See, it was the first time I brought in this comparison here of the good Satan and the 11 Satanic Rules of the earth versus the evil God and the Christian God's 10 Commandments, right? So it was the first time I actually had a Google discussion, a Google Hangout discussion about it, and I would like to revisit it and do a reaction. Anyone's welcome to follow me along in the chat, because if you come into the chat, then we're just going to chat. I'm not going to do the reaction, okay? So yeah, let's listen.
Rule number 2 is don't complain. To the rule number 2. Or don't go everywhere and complain until you are sure that the people want to hear it. Would also mean that do not tell those people who want to hear your troubles are your friends, right? So it is also advised, like, don't tell everybody what your troubles are, right? I would say. And then rule number 2.
Solve your own problems.
Yeah, nothing about solving, but keep your problems to you. Right? Don't bother other people with your problems. Unless you are sure they want to hear it. Right?
Actually, I mean, if there's a friend and he give you the space that you can talk about anything, you know, and he does that same to you, then definitely, or I mean, there are plenty of things. Like we were in a hangout, remember? And there were plenty of things. I asked you to let's get another call. I want to discuss something, right?
Yeah.
I felt like you are comfortable listening me, you know, and
so you
I'm
were
also
sure,
comfortable.
but you were then sure that I want to hear it, right? It wasn't like I said, no, I don't want to, or whatever, or
Of course.
Okay.
I asked you first, and you said, okay, let's move to the other hangout. If you said, I don't want to, then I wouldn't tell you.
Yes. So it's again a rule like interfering with other people, right? How you should interfere with the rule number 1 and 2 on the left side, or rules of the earth, will tell you how to interfere with other people. Yeah, okay. And the rule number 2 on the right, you shall make no idols. But isn't it the same as the rule number 1? Don't you think? With other people, right? Because how do you should? If rule number 1 says you shall have no other gods before me, and if somebody makes idols, and I think idols are false gods, right?
Yeah, it's the same, but there is a different. It's
I can hear you.
I mean, no, somebody no. If somebody do not make idol but said that I don't believe on that God, I love the other God, you know. But I'm not making idols, so I can worship, you know. So they make the both point clear that there is no other God first, and
So you mean like no before the difference, but
go talk to you.
Christian usually saying all the other gods are idols and not the true God. You know what I mean by that? It's like every other god for the Christians, like let's say Thor or the god Pangu or whatever, right? For them, there are idols. So for me, is the rule number 1, and number 2 exactly the same.
No,
What's the difference between
oh yeah,
if you should
yeah.
have no other gods before me, right? If someone take a different god, it's according to
It's a
Christianity.
delay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was delay at that time between the two. There was lag. So it's not us. I'll just speed it up a little bit.
So still 1 and 2 are exactly the same. Just other
Not
words.
for me.
Yeah, they're back. I think.
What is the difference between idol and a god?
Idol worshipping is something you made by your hand and you worship that. You know? According to me. I don't know
I
if
still
it's
not
different
understand
thing.
it.
Or maybe Sidney is a proper English speaker. He can tell
Yeah,
both of us what it is.
yeah. Sidney went to make something to eat as usual.
Okay, let me cut the call and come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's gonna fix his lag, I think.
He will roll out.
What do you want me to do? He ran away.
No, he didn't run away. He just want to rejoin because there is a big delay.
Okay, what did he want me to answer?
No, because I said number 1 and 2 on the 10 Commandments are the same rules, just in different words.
The first 4 of them are the first fucking same rules.
Yeah, we are just come until 2.
All right, good.
All right. And he said something like, "Idols you make on your own. That's a different two gods." And
What?
Yeah, I didn't understand his explanation. So he asked you to explain the word idols.
Oh, idols.
Mm-hmm.
False representations of a god, like a statue, or a picture, or or a Virgin Mary, or something that you pray to. That's
Yes,
yeah,
I was thinking the same.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so they are different.
You can feel,
So,
see, touch. Yeah,
okay, so I was wrong. I didn't understand it.
Well, an idol is essentially like, for example, every statue of the Virgin Mary, well, not everyone, but certainly a really well-made statue of the Virgin Mary is concrete and water and paint. And there you go. There's your God. There's your idol. Which sorry, there's your there's your idol, which you can idolize. Now, I don't see why you can't idolize an idol and worship God at the same time. This greedy God, I'm telling you something. He's really, really fucked the world up.
Okay, now I have clarification. So
I think we both need English classes from Sidney.
So let's move to the rule number 3.
Yeah.
When in another's lair, show them respect, or else do not go there. When in another's lair. When you are moving to somebody
Yeah.
else's place, show them respect, or do not go there.
Yeah, privacy. Privacy.
Or if you just visit someone, right?
Even you are visiting, even you are living together, there is a personal space.
So another advice, good or bad advice for life? What do you think?
I agree. I agree on the third one.
Okay.
I have this problem. And I've been, I have tell some guest of mine.
Like that he should respect your place too, right? So we have 3 advices for life until now on the left side. And on the right side, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. It means like abuse the word of God or something, or the name of God.
Yeah.
Jeez. G. Just G.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
like my God is not helping, or even this is the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Show them respect and go there. If a guest in your lair annoys you, treat them cruelly and without mercy. Without mercy. It for me it just means don't lie to him. Show immediately that he like went over the border. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's something wrong with it. Number 4 on the left.
I believe
Yeah.
if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat them cruelly and without mercy means if he annoys, I believe that first you have to put your, you know,
Yeah.
fuck internet.
Yeah.
I think I'm making your discussion more bad due to my internet situation.
It's okay.
You know what? It's not too bad at all. It's we can manage. It's
People.
okay. He's in and out. He's in and out. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. 4th on the right. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Yeah.
Okay.
The
Well,
Christian.
now you got to define holy. What does that mean?
No. First of all, we have to define Sabbath.
Well, the Sabbath is obviously a day of rest.
Yeah, but it's.
That's the definition. So there. Okay, we've done that one. What? Now we got to define holy. Right.
I will still say because if the Christians are keeping the Sabbath holy, they are not.
It's not the point. The point is not what they're doing. The point is what's written
Yeah.
in the commandments. So again, you're doing the same thing you did earlier. You're taking something. You're taking the whole subject, which is very simple, and you're making a very big. You're making a big mountain out of a little molehill. Because we're not talking about what they do in real life. We're talking about what the rule says.
Okay. Yeah, keep it holy.
What the hell does that mean? Now, in order for us to know what keep it holy means, we're going to need a holy man. A holy man summoning up a holy man.
Or can I make it holy?
Well,
no,
I just want a definition of holy from a holy man. So, excuse me while I do my abracadabra. Holy man, please appear, holy man. Holy man, appear. Holy man. Now there's a period of introspective and retrospective waiting for the holy man. But in the meantime, you can carry on.
Yeah, I still don't know what holy means.
I don't know either.
So I will look up the definition.
Table that one. We'll get back to it.
Holy definition. Holy. Dedicated or consecrated to God or a religious purpose. Sacred.
What? Yeah, okay. I got it. Can you read it again?
Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Because reading for me is difficult. This one. Blah. And I'll bring it here. Can you see it? Blah, 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 blah.
Can I see it? Is the question. Holy, dedicated or consecrated to God or a religious purpose. Sacred, the Holy Bible. Dedicated or consecrated to God or a religious purpose. Fine. Got it.
Hello, sanctified.
Which really means fuck all. How do you dedicate something to something that doesn't exist? And then call it holy as if it's holy. Oh my God, it's holy.
Yeah, what it means by like dedicated to a god. So does it mean you are praying there, or
I want to know. I'm an inquiring mind. I want to know these things. But where is our holy man?
yeah?
Any holy man?
What's the biblical definition of holy?
Any holy man around that isn't that isn't hungover from last night's partying? Anyone?
Devoted entirely to the deity or the work of the deity, a holy temple, holy prophets.
Yes.
Being holy. Something is holy, like the Holy Bible.
It doesn't hold any water whatsoever.
Yeah. An place, object, or person who has been blessed can be described as holy. Associated with God.
Oh, that's easy.
What is the Greek definition of holy? When the word is used to reference to God and God's Spirit, it means that they are.
Why does the back chat show me that our holy man is in the hangout, but he's not in the hangout? I would like to know these things, unless, and what I suspect, was that I needed to refresh that. He says not letting him in. Internet not letting him in. Let the connection get good. We'll be back. Okay, good. So we'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait for our holy man. So can you enlighten us in the meantime about...
I have no idea what holy means.
So would you say, at the very least, that evil God's 10 commandments are ambiguous at best?
Ambiguous. I don't know. I have to look it up what ambiguous means.
That's fine. Ambiguous. Good idea to look that one up.
Ambiguous. Open to more than one interpretation, not having one obvious meaning. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, now look at the ambiguity. Look at the ambiguity of the 10 commandments, of God's 10 commandments, and then look at the ambiguity of of 11 satanic rules.
No, the rules are specific. They give you specific explanation,
but they're not ambiguous at all.
No, this is what I meant by that.
Yeah. Which I find kind of ridiculous.
Do not make sexual advances unless you are giving the mating signal.
I don't know what the mating signal is, but whatever it is, it's obviously something that is either consensual or adult.
But wouldn't be like another sexual advance?
Well, a mating signal is not a sexual advance. A mating signal is an invitation to a sexual advance, perhaps.
Like you are sure this person are flirting with you,
right?
Or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Honor your father and your mother. This is a fucking rule. Because you have to honor them even if they are bad to you. Even
That's stupid. Oh, that's dumb.
it's like,
Yeah, if I had to honor my mother and my father, it would make no sense.
yeah.
They didn't honor me. Why should I honor them?
And this rule is here because of the other rules in which are in the Bible, like you can be stoned to death if you disobey your parents.
Right.
So this is, in fact, an advice to save your life for not to be stoned to death.
Yeah.
Okay. Do not take that which does not belong to you unless it is a burden to another person and they cry out to be relieved.
Relieved.
Yeah, do not steal.
All right.
And do not take.
Do not steal. And is there an equivalent on the other side?
Yeah, you shall not steal. You shall not. It doesn't mean you do not. You shall not.
Same thing.
But there is, what is the second half? Unless it is a burden of the other person and he cries out for to be relieved. How you explain that?
Here, take it. Here, take this. Please take it. Please take it. Here. Please take it. Please take my watch. Please. Here, it's yours.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're not stealing it. I'm giving it to
you. Yeah. So it's like a real sign of it. So you have to like talk to this person first.
Obviously.
Okay. You shall not murder. You shall not murder. Yeah, okay. That's okay. Rule number 6 is, I would say, okay. It says not, you shall not kill, you shall not murder. That's sometimes is translated differently. Okay, number 7 of the Satanic. Acknowledge the power of magic if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained. It just means if you use this successfully, then acknowledge it's real.
Exactly.
And if you did it and then you say it's not working, then you will lose everything.
That's right. Don't deny. If you believe in magic and you're counting on magic and it works for you, don't go and deny it. I personally, I don't buy into the magic.
Yeah, so this rule is not for us because we don't believe in it.
Well,
right?
It is for us.
No, we should.
If we believe in it, it's for us, and it's for us if we don't believe in it as well. You know, don't mock other people. Don't mock other people if they believe in magic and it works for them.
It doesn't say don't mock them. For me, I'm just saying if you don't believe it, don't believe it. But if you believe it, don't deny it.
Oh yeah.
I will interpret it like that.
What is truth? I would interpret it now that I've thought about it. I would interpret it more like if you pray for something like big, life-changing, huge. If you pray for something that big, and it does happen to, that prayer happens to be realized, and what you pray for actually, as it were, comes true, then that means that don't deny the power of whatever prayer you made, whether it's religious, pagan, whatever. Don't deny the power of the magic that made your prayer come true, even though it's coincidental. It's magical that it's coincidental. That's what I think that is referring to. Evolution is truth.
It's a fact.
Evolution is a fact, scientific fact.
Yes.
There's no getting away from it.
Scientific fact and scientific theory, both of them. And it means the same. So, do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself. Do not complain. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay. What have we here? You shall not commit adultery. Except.
Listen, you shall not commit adultery. It's such a kind of a clinical thing to say. Instead of saying, instead of harping on like the satanics do, the satanic rules, harping on the respect for your fellow human being. If you have respect for your fellow human being, and literally, if you have respect for all human beings, you're not gonna go out and rape. You're not gonna go out and murder. You're not gonna go out and commit adultery. You're not gonna do things that are antisocial.
Adultery is just sleeping with other women, right?
Yeah, but it's still disrespectful. Number one, to the woman who's married that you're sleeping with, and number two, to the husband who she's married to, and number three, to perhaps your own wife who you have to sleep with, or others who you have to sleep with, because of personally, I think it's the inherent unhealthy side effects.
Yeah, but you should not commit adultery on the right side. Mean just within respect to your wife and another woman who is not your sex slave.
I would say today that the whole focus should be on one word, and that is consent. So if your wife agrees to you having an affair with another woman, that is not adultery, because there's consent all the way around. And so I would promote open discussion, and nobody does anything without anybody else close to them knowing about it. I'm not saying that nothing that married couples shouldn't have other intimate relationships, but everybody should know about everything, like a polyamorous type of a community. That would work a lot better than the lying, cheating, stealing behind your back, disgusting, sexually transmitted disease infected community that these 10 commandments of the evil God refer to.
Because in the Bible you can have sex slaves, and this will be not considered as adultery. So
there you go again. You're making something very, very complex out of something very, very simple. Yeah, nowhere on this list does it say anything about sex slaves. Nowhere does it say go look at the Bible and make a comment about sex slaves which don't appear on this list. So the reason that these debates, these conversations, these talks get so complicated is because of all the digression, away from
because there is context to it.
There's no context to it. When you mention sex slavery, it's got absolutely no context to the comparison. Because sex slavery is disrespect for one, for, a human being to another human being. Simple.
So if you compare this one, you shall not commit adultery, and number 5 on the left, which should match it, kind of. On number 5 on the left says, yeah, you can do it. And on the right side, it says, no, you on number 7 says, no, you shouldn't do it, no matter what. It means if you have sexual advances from someone else, you can do it. But you can. Right.
Well, let me take number 5. Okay, number 5. Do not make sexual advances unless you are given the mating signal. Fine. But if you, let's say you're in a consensually monogamous relationship with somebody. Okay? So that doesn't give you the right to make sexual advances to somebody that gives you the mating signal, because you still have the responsibility to show your partner the respect that you promised him or her, right? So I that's my argument there. That I think covers my butt on that one. Well, there's a lot of silence, isn't there? I think God's 10 Commandments, rigorous rules of the.
You can defend him.
Okay.
No, you can defend him. I have nothing.
I know my defense of the 11 satanic rules of the earth is going to be as vigorous as Moshe's defense of God's 10 Commandments.
Yeah, but now you brought swearing on the Bible, so you brought the context. That's why I said that you shall not commit adultery is a fully empty commandment, because in the Bible you can fuck your sex slaves or your how you call it? I forgot the word.
Exactly.
But it's allowed.
That's what I'm saying. Don't even go there. You're making it complicated.
So, yeah. So when we look just straight on the commandments, right? On the left side, you were allowed to have sex with someone else if the person gives you okay to it.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
And on the right side, it says, don't do it at all. If you are married.
Okay, go to number 4. Okay, if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat them cruelly. Now, I come home and my best friend who I haven't seen in 20 years, he's come because he lives on the other side of the country. He's come to spend a week with me and my wife.
Yeah.
So, but I come home from work one day and I find my best friend from 20 years ago in bed with my wife.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4 says, if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat them cruelly and without mercy. So that's pretty annoying.
Right, but this is not you.
So it's my lair. So then I kick him out. No forgiveness. No, let's talk about it. No,
right.
Fuck you, get out.
Just fuck you and get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but this rule is like the fifth rule is then in this case he followed the rule 5.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm not saying that he didn't do anything wrong. Yes, I get it. He did follow Rule 5, but he also would have been disrespectful to me by breaking Rule 3. When in another's lair, show them respect, or else do not go there. So he was in my lair in my house where I live and my wife lives, and he did not show me respect by hopping into bed with my wife. I should choose better who I marry. I understand that. Number 4 is number 1. Firstly, he's a guest in my lair and he's annoying me.
Yeah.
The second thing about rule number 5 is his respect for me and for my lair and for what is in my lair is non-existent.
That's right. That's right, because it was told you
Number 6,
before.
do not take that which does not belong to you unless it is a burden. Now, if it's my lair and my wife and my partner, then in as much as she doesn't belong to me as chattel, she belongs to me emotionally.
Right. No, it was clarified. I would say number 3, when I'm in another layer, show them respect.
Sorry, I should have gone there right away. I should have gone there right away. You're right.
Right.
See, there you go. So you can pretty much mix and match and figure out exactly how humanistic these 11 satanic rules of the earth are, especially with respect to evil God's 10 commandments.
Right.
Correct?
Yes. So we move on. Number 8. Do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself. Oh, didn't we hit it? Yeah. Yeah, of course. That's self-explanation. Don't pretend to have a problem which is not your problem.
Correct.
Yeah, number 9, the most important one. Do not harm little children.
Correct.
Where is it? It means, it means harm. And harm means everything, right?
Yeah.
From beating to...
abuse, emotional, physical, spiritual, everything.
Yeah. We cannot find it on the right side, right? There is no mentioning of this at all.
Do not harm little children by subjecting them to dogmatic religion and lies and fear until they are emotionally able to deal with with reality, and they know that the religious and the what's called metaphysical point of view is merely philosophical and conceptual. It does not exist. Correct.
Or could you like interpret it in one of this rule? Make no idols? No.
I don't think so.
Keep the Sabbath on father, mother, you shall not murder. No, it just says about the father and mother, but it says nothing. It even says if your parents abusing you, you should still honor him. So it's like the opposite. It's like the opposite of it, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, you shall not steal. Yeah, we did it already. It's also there on the left. Number 9, you shall not be a false witness against your neighbor. Yeah, okay. This is also already mentioned like in...
Well, doesn't it mean you shall, when it says don't lie, doesn't it say don't lie anywhere? Or is that it? Okay, so bear false witnesses, don't lie, right?
But only against your neighbor. It doesn't say you should not lie at all.
Well, who are you going to lie against?
You can lie like,
against the tax man?
Yeah, somebody who is not
You're
your
gonna
neighbor.
lie against the tax collector. So okay, there's an out right there.
Right, you can lie for everybody, but nobody who is your neighbor.
Well, I'm gonna just leave it at you can lie to the tax collector.
Mm-hmm.
Do not bear false witness to your neighbor, but you may bear false witness to the tax collector and to the judge.
Of course. And we can.
Hang on. We have a guest. Okay, hold on. Let me just fix everything for you. I think I've muted everything. No. Hold on. Something's gone wrong. I can't hear a damn thing. I don't know. I can't hear you. Hold on a second. Oh, well, I'm muted. All right. I'm now unmuted. So you should be able to hear me. Jill, you're muted. Thou be muted. Okay, so let me rearrange the screen a little bit here.
I'm not muted. You are. You're the muted one. Can you hear me?
This is what's going on. See, Jill's here.
Maybe you should start using StreamYards.
But he's on mute. So we gotta wait because we got patience. Oh yeah, we got patience. There
we go. No, I'm not on mute.
I can see.
Everyone can hear me. I'm not on mute.
I can see that you're talking, but I can't hear you. Know why is that? Oh, I know why. Shit.
Yeah, I think
I should be able to.
You have me on mute.
Yeah, no, I had the wrong speakers plugged into you. Sorry about that. My apologies.
And turn my volume all the way up too.
No, you're good. You're good. It was my fault.
Just me and you in here, huh?
Yeah, welcome.
I heard a third person. Where did he go?
You heard a third person?
No, yeah, who's the second person?
Just me and you.
There was a third person here.
Yeah, that was Pio.
Peter?
Pio,
where did he go?
He'll be back. No, he won't be back. I don't think he'll be back. He's gone. We were. Okay. Well, did you just join?
Well, I was trying to join earlier, but you didn't let me in. I wanted to.
Oh, you know what? Because of that speaker thing, the reason I couldn't hear you talking is the reason I couldn't hear you pinging. I didn't know you were in there. But I'm sorry about that.
Okay, because the young man, I don't know how old he is, but he made a statement or a claim that I found to be lacking of support or evidence for, which I expect to happen when I tune into your channel.
Okay.
But he claimed that the Bible supports sex slavery.
He said that. I did hear him say that.
Yeah, I was hoping he could provide some sort of evidence or citation for that, but but he's gone now.
Yeah. So, well, I don't even know why he brought up sex slavery because it wasn't really part of anything that we were talking about. But I do have a challenge. Have you heard my 2 challenges? I came up with a new one. The first one, all gods are imaginary. Prove me wrong. Well, that didn't
That didn't work.
That didn't work out to be too popular in drawing in the crowds. This one though is different. This one is the Christian God is not a brute fact. Prove me wrong. What do you think of that one?
What? What do you mean by brute fact? What does that even mean? That means that you don't believe it?
No, that means you
It's a
don't question.
fact.
That means you don't question it. A brute fact is something you don't question. Like you don't question. All gods are imaginary. It's a brute fact. You don't question it.
Well, you might not question it, but someone else might.
Yeah, well, like the Christian God is a brute fact, according to you. I would question that.
That's fine.
But
It's your opinion.
do you understand what I mean now by brute fact?
Yeah, that's your opinion. That's fine.
It's not an opinion.
Yeah, it's your opinion. It's
Brute
not a
facts
fact.
are knowledge.
Right, but not everyone holds to or knows or has that knowledge or can
No,
grasp.
but everyone has everybody's brute fact is their knowledge.
Right, but everyone only has brute facts of knowledge that they can grasp or understand.
Well, obviously,
You may not understand God, and therefore,
I actually may understand God and therefore atheist.
well, I've never met an atheist that could even tell me who the God of the Bible is.
Nobody cares because it's all fiction.
Exactly.
The whole thing, the whole message is that the God concept is purely conceptual. It's nothing real about it. The God is imaginary. That is it. It's not the Bible is absolutely irrelevant.
Right. So that's usually the attitude. Usually the attitude is, I don't care, it doesn't exist, therefore it's not a brute fact. But it's never actually being able to demonstrate such. So it's most people have the attitude that you have. I just don't care, it's not real,
I
and
never
that's
said I
it.
didn't care. I just said it's imaginary. Prove me wrong. So far,
Well,
crickets.
well, of course, because you're asking something you're making committing a logical fallacy by asking for proof that it's not imaginary. What does that even mean, imaginary?
I didn't say they aren't imaginary. I said that all gods are imaginary in that they only
Right? How do you
exist
prove? How do you prove otherwise?
in that they only exist in the mind. How do you prove
How do you prove that?
otherwise?
Now, how do you
By
prove that?
by showing me how God exists outside of the mind.
How?
Your mind. That's up to you.
In what form should we show him?
Whatever you can. You do it. You do you,
If he
buddy.
doesn't
You
if
do
he doesn't
you.
if he doesn't
Yes.
have the characteristics of form, then that would be a category error. It would be like you telling me to eat the color red. Okay? It's a category mistake. If he doesn't have form, you can't provide a form. You need to do it
So
some other
yeah,
way.
but by definition, in a world where either we have objects or concepts, we're talking about a God that is a concept. Therefore, it doesn't exist. There is no form, like you say. There's no shape, like you say. Therefore, your God is abstract, is imaginary.
Is id and ego a concept?
I don't care. We're not talking about that. We're talking about your God.
Hmm. Yeah.
Don't
So
change
there
you.
are
Oh,
concepts
I
that
don't
are
know
not
why you want to.
physical.
Why do you want to change the subject all the time?
I'm not changing the subject. I'm asking
Every time I talk about God, you talk about ego.
well, I'm asking a question. You said that there are no things that exist in the world that
You're
are
not here
not
to ask me
that are
questions.
either concepts.
You're here to prove me that that all God.
Well, I need to
I
first
said
show
all
that your
gods.
line of logic is flawed.
All
Your
gods
line
are
of logic is
imaginary.
flawed.
All gods
Okay.
are imaginary. Prove me wrong.
Oh, red can be tasted. Prove me
Don't
wrong.
ask me questions.
Well, I'm
Prove me
showing you how the
wrong.
logical fallacy of your approach. It's
In
fallacious
other
to ask
words,
someone for evidence that red can be tasted.
I didn't ask for
and
red.
then
I didn't ask
suggest
for
that,
red.
well, red must,
I said
right, I'm
all
giving you
gods
it's an
are
analogy.
imaginary.
It's
Prove
right.
me
It's called
wrong. It's got
it's
nothing
called
to
an
do with
analogy.
red. It's got nothing to do with taste.
Right. It's
It's
called an analogy.
all got to no. It's not. That's
Do
it.
you know what an analogy is?
I don't need an analogy.
I'm asking, do you know what an
I
analogy is?
need you to show me that
Sure.
all gods are imaginary.
All gods are imaginary except for the God of the Bible, and here's how he demonstrates it.
Well, that's where you dig your own hole.
Right. That's just as silly as your statement,
It's
right?
just
But I'm
as
going to show
you
proof.
dig your. What do you mean as silly as mine?
But I'm
Mine
going to
says
show proof.
all gods are imaginary, bar
And
none.
mine
And you
says
say
all
all
gods
gods are imaginary except for my God.
except for the God of the Bible.
That and that is not silly. That's not the silliest thing you've heard in your life. Come on.
Well, it's silly without any evidence. So yeah, on its face,
I've
it's
asked
silly.
you for that,
Yeah.
and you can't. All you
Sure.
do,
Sure. You ready?
all you've done is say that
I'll
the
give it
God of
to
the
you again.
Bible exists because
Sure.
it's the God of the Bible, and no other gods
No,
exist.
I didn't say that. I didn't give you the evidence. Are you ready? Okay.
Yes,
So I'll give
you're
you
going to
the
say he'll
evidence.
give me some psalm, but a fool in his heart is evidence for something God unseen.
False.
I
False.
don't need that. Okay,
The God of the Bible
okay,
provides empirical.
you cannot.
Are you ready?
Wait, no.
Do you want the evidence or not? Are you just going to keep saying there isn't any evidence?
I do not want any.
You don't want the evidence.
Nothing from the Bible. Do not quote me anything
Nothing from the Bible.
Nothing.
Sure.
Because the Bible
So wait a minute. So
we're
the
not
God
talking
who,
about the Bible.
hold
The
on,
Bible
hold on.
is
So
the
God who makes the claim
Bible is
cannot
the book.
defend himself
The
in the book
Bible
that he
is a
writes.
book. No, God didn't write the book. Humans wrote the book.
Wait. I'm trying to understand.
No,
The book that
I'm
says the God
explaining.
exists.
If you're trying to understand, I'm
The book that
explaining
says
to
that
you.
this God exists cannot explain how he exists and give the
Correct.
proof in the same book.
Correct.
That's silly.
The book is out
The
of
book,
bounds.
the God that says that that's like me writing a book and then you coming to me saying, prove that you wrote this book. And I say, here's my handwriting. Here's the book that I wrote. Here's the evidence that I wrote.
Did your God exist before the book?
Again,
did your God exist before the book?
And he made a book proving he exists.
Did
real time.
Did your God exist before the book, though?
Yes, and he made a book proving that he existed.
Forget about the book.
No, he made a book proving that he existed, and you want to ignore it.
Human beings made up
so
that
we
book.
have evidence. Don't ever say we don't have evidence.
Human beings,
just say I don't
I'm not going to
accept the
accept.
evidence.
I'm not going to accept that human beings who wrote a book is evidence of God.
So don't ever say that we don't have evidence. Here's what you need to start saying. I don't accept the evidence you present because it's in the book.
You have no evidence.
Okay?
You have no evidence.
I do. Do you want to hear the evidence?
Your book is not evidence.
Okay, so then where is God supposed to provide this evidence that you want him to provide it, if not in a book?
He can't because it doesn't exist. You see?
Where do you want God to provide the evidence, if not in a book? That's where you put evidence, in books. That's where we get scientific evidence from.
Personal revelation.
He doesn't have to speak to you personally.
Then God is all imaginary.
Then God doesn't exist. That's a non sequitur.
That's a non sequitur.
That's a non sequitur.
You say that God doesn't have to speak to me. It's
No,
like,
he
it's like
doesn't.
me saying to you, you are exempt from the law of gravity.
So God has to speak to
yourself,
everyone in order for him.
Yes.
Well, hold on.
Yes.
God has
you
to
said
speak
it.
to
You said
everyone?
it. You said it. You said it.
So God has to speak to
every single person.
Every single person that's ever lived.
Absolutely.
He has to speak. And what does he have to say to them? And what does he have to say to them?
He has to be able to give them that person's personal testimony that they know that God exists, so that every single person in the world has a personal testimony. Don't you get it?
Okay, so you know what that would make you if you were to force God to do that? It would make you God. So no, God does what he wants to do, and he provides the evidence that he wants to provide.
Okay, and
if you don't want to accept that's too bad.
Okay, I'll accept that it'll make me God. Okay, then what?
Then you get to dictate and provide evidence that you think
I accept.
Let me finish. Then you get to provide evidence that would substantiate your existence. But that's what you choose to do. That's what you choose to
have just put me as God into existence by saying
right. Because you are dictating what the God of the Bible should do in order to prove himself. That would make you God.
That is so silly. You know as well as I do that the God of the Bible was written by men.
Great.
And maybe women, I don't know.
If you were God, Wouldn't it be up to you how you determine how you want to prove yourself to human beings and not someone else?
Who else? What do you mean? If I was God, who
If you
else?
were God,
If I
wouldn't
was
it be up
God,
to
who's
you?
my equal? Who's my equal?
If no one, exactly my
Exactly.
point.
So what are you
Thank you.
talking about? If
If
I
you
was
were
God,
God,
why would I need to prove to anybody, anything?
exactly my point. Thank you very much, Sidney. God doesn't have to prove anything to you. You just proved it.
Well, okay, I'll concede that to you,
Especially
but
the
I
way
will
that he,
also.
especially the
Okay,
way that you're trying to make him prove himself.
okay, fair enough.
So
But I will. I want. Hold on a
here's what
second. Hold
he's
on a
done.
second. No, I'm going to respond. If God
Okay.
has done all this, like you say, and I will agree that this is the universe that we are just the unlucky universe. There is another universe that God has created where everybody on that universe thinks only of the benefit and well-being of others and themselves. There's no evil. There's no anger and rage and animosity and enmity and vitriol. There's nothing of that on that
Mhm.
planet. The only thing everybody does is go out and do the best they can for themselves, for the betterment of the
And there's
community, the
no failure
society,
either. There's no
and
failure.
there's no failure. Everything
No
is
failure.
good, and
Okay.
God is good. In that universe, yes, God is good. In this
Mhm.
universe, with your explanation of God and with me accepting, yes, okay, your God exists, then in this universe, your God is evil.
I didn't
There you
give an
go.
explanation of God.
There
So
you go.
I
This
didn't give an
universe,
explanation of God.
this
I
universe has
never
an
gave an
evil God.
explanation of God.
This
Did I?
universe has an evil God.
Wait,
The other universe that what I spoke about has a good God. So there
wait,
you
have I
go.
given an explanation of God?
Um,
Have I given that to
we've
you?
agreed that this universe has an evil God. There you
Right.
go.
Have I given you an explanation of God, or did you just make that up?
Don't run away. This
Did you just make that up?
God is an evil God. There you go.
So what you
Okay,
described.
so what I just showed you is that
Uh-huh.
even though you think that even though I agree with you on your premise that God exists, I've shown you that if your God exists, then your God is an evil God, lazy, with no power whatsoever,
Mm,
almost as if your God doesn't exist.
sure. So
Very close
what?
similarity.
So where are you getting this description of God in the Bible? Where are you getting it from?
I told you
A
the
book? Are you
Bible.
getting it from a book?
I told you that the Bible. What you laughing
Oh,
at?
so you can
What
use
do
the
you? Oh,
Bible to
okay. All
determine who
right.
God
So what
is.
you're doing now is you're
So
just heckling and
so we
laughing
because
for no
you're
particular
contradicting
because
yourself.
you're drunk.
You're contradicting yourself. First, you say we can't use the Bible. Then you want to use it for your nefarious reasons. You could use it.
I
But when I
told
want
you
to
we
use
never
it
use the Bible.
to,
No one
okay,
uses
but
the
when
Bible.
I'm using
I
it,
Where did I use the Bible?
okay,
Where did I use the
you
Bible?
just use it to say that
Where
how
did I
God is
use
described in
the
the Bible.
Bible? Where did I use the?
Just now,
I have not used the Bible ever.
just
I
now
do
you
not
did.
consider the
So where
Bible.
did you get the
I
description of
do
God?
not. I do not.
So where are you getting the description that you gave for God? Where does it come from? Hello? Did you just make it up?
It comes from human beings who made
Oh,
up.
it comes and who
Yeah.
write and who wrote in a book about God.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's called the Bible. Thank you. So when I give you a description of
Dude,
what's in the Bible, you
dude,
say, "Oh no, you can't use the Bible."
dude,
You have
dude,
two
dude.
standards. That's what you have.
If
You
you
have
think
double standard.
if you think that the Bible is Christianity, you're wrong.
If I think that the Bible is
The Bible
Christianity,
is in the beginning God created the
what does
heavens
that
and the
even
earth.
mean?
That's in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. That's the Bible.
Okay, and
And
what does that even mean? That the if you think it's
exactly. What does that
Christianity,
even? Oh, what a brilliant
what's that?
question.
Is that
What
an
does that
argument?
even mean? It's
Is that an
exactly
argument?
that is the fiction. That is the fiction of the Bible. That's
Fiction?
the
You have
first
to prove
sentence. The
fiction.
first sentence of the Bible is fiction.
You have to
I
prove
can
that.
disregard the rest of it.
You have to prove that.
We have
I
proved
wish
it.
you would, so I can quit being a Christian.
You know what? We have actually proved it.
Where?
These are the days of science, my friend.
How
Of
can you prove? How can
science, my
science prove
friend.
something that was before
Of
science?
science, my
How
friend.
can science prove something that's not intended to detect?
Did you just say how can science prove that? How can
Something
science prove?
before
Did you
before
say
science
science? How
has.
can science prove? How can
Yeah.
science?
How could
How can
science
science
prove
prove
something
something that
before?
was before science?
Yes, yes, yes. Can you answer that? You're laughing. It's a nervous laughter. Can you answer that?
I want to ask the question again. Can science prove something that was before science?
No, because before science, there was no material world. Or before God created, we would say there was no material world. Science can only study the material world, it cannot study the immaterial world.
And the immaterial world is what?
The immaterial world is those things like ego, id, consciousness, the immaterial or the metaphysical aspects of reality. Science can do very little to discover.
Because metaphysical is not a real thing. Metaphysical again is an imaginary. It's
It's
a non. It's
imaginary.
like it's imaginary.
Okay.
Exactly. But there is
So,
no
so id and
meta.
egoism,
There
so
is no
love is
meta. There
imaginary.
is no meta dimension. It doesn't make
Right.
sense.
There's no matter, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist.
No, I said there's no meta dimension.
There's no made up dimension.
No, yes, you said
What?
there's metaphysics, but there's no meta dimension. How's that?
What? I'm
Exactly.
not saying that there's another dimension where these things
Well,
exist. I'm saying they
what is
exist in
meta?
our dimension
What
and
is
you don't
meta?
deny them. You only deny the metaphysical aspects of reality when it comes to the scriptures
There is
place
no
for
such thing as
metaphysical reality.
metaphysical. There is no such thing as metaphysical.
Non-physical things
There's
that are not
only the physical.
things that are not physical.
Things that are not
You
physical are
uh,
conceptual. Are conceptual.
concepts. Is love a concept?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't
I
know.
don't think so. No.
You don't know. Is
I don't know love. So
consciousness
well,
a concept?
Ask me something that I know about.
Is consciousness a concept?
No.
No? What is
No.
it? What is consciousness?
Consciousness is a human life.
Consciousness is human lives.
No,
Is it
I
physical?
didn't say that, dude. Don't fucking
Well, what did
bullshit.
you say?
I said
Conscious
consciousness is human life.
human life is consciousness.
Yes.
So if somebody is unconscious, they're not human?
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on. You give me
I didn't
definitions.
say unconscious.
Uh-huh.
You, you
They're, they're
said
not they're not conscious.
somebody who's unconscious gets knocked unconscious.
Right.
Somebody who's conscious gets knocked unconscious. Are you saying that changes your whole worldview? Is that what you're asking me?
You might say that, but I would say
You're a little bit off today.
yeah, if someone does not
But
have
I can forgive you. It is a Sunday.
if someone does not have consciousness, they can't be conscious, right? They're not aware.
If you're under anesthetic in the hospital, same thing.
Right. So that
what
person's not
is
human
your
according to you.
point about that?
My point is that is a non-physical reality that not even the most hardened atheist denies.
But that the body,
You only deny it
the
because you
body,
think it's
hold
going to
on,
help your
the
argument, but it's
living,
not.
the,
In reality, you don't
now
deny
that was a
it. In
nervous
reality,
laugh. That was a nervous laugh.
in reality, you don't deny it. You don't live like that. You don't
Let
live.
me
You don't
tell you.
say, "Well,
Let me tell you. Let me tell
I
you
don't
what I
believe that love exists because I
let me
can't
tell you what
find
I actually
the
think on this
love
subject.
gene."
Let me actually tell you what I think on that subject without you telling everybody
Okay,
else what I think
sure.
on the subject.
I'm telling you what your worldview is just ultimately flawed. It's just
I don't have a worldview. Reality
okay.
is my worldview, if you
Yeah,
want
right.
that.
Sure,
But
sure. That denies metaphysical realities. That's your reality.
there is no metaphysical.
Okay, that's your reality. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
exactly. Jesus, you got it. There is no
Sorry to hear.
metaphysical. That's my reality because reality is
Right.
reality. It's like the law of identity. A
Mhm.
is A. Reality is A. Reality is reality. It's nothing else. Okay.
Right.
You can't
Right. Yeah.
go and sneak in. You know, a A equals A in the law of identity, but it's exception. It's an exception when it comes to the Christian God, because the Christian God exists because it says so in a book, and therefore all the other gods that you would ever think about or heard about are just made up stories.
That's not the
Now
argument, but go ahead, continue.
that
That's
to
never
me,
the argument, but go ahead.
Jill, that to me is
That's a bad argument. I agree,
you
guess,
can't
but that's not our
you
but that's
cancel
not
your
our argument.
you've made
Go,
that
go
argument
ahead.
already. You made
Yeah, I've never made that
you
argument.
made
You'll
that
never hear
argument.
me
You
make
made that
argument.
argument today.
You'll never hear any a top apologist make that argument. But go ahead. If that's your straw man you
You
want to
just
prop
did.
up, go ahead. I've
When
never made that argument.
when I rewind, I'll maybe make a clip
Yeah,
out
I've
of it.
never
then.
made that argument.
I'll make a clip out of it when I rewind it.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Make a clip out of it. That's not my.
Oh,
You
yeah,
want to hear my
I will.
argument as
No,
to
I
why I
don't.
reject other gods?
No, because
I made a statement that all other gods are
you've
false.
already told me why you reject other gods.
I made a statement that all
You
the gods are
said
false. I didn't tell you why I have that belief.
yes, you did. You said you.
No, I did not.
I'll then
Did
let
you
me
like
tell
to
you
hear
what.
why I
Let me
believe
tell you
all
what.
other gods?
No, I'm going to tell
Oh,
you.
you don't
what
want to
believe.
hear. You just want to
I'm
make
going
up
to
a
tell
straw
you
man.
what you believe because you seem to always like to
Oh,
tell others what I believe. So
I'll let you finish, and then I'll tell you why I reject other gods.
This is why Jill believes that only the Christian God exists and all other gods are are fake, are fairy tales, because it says so in the Bible that God
False.
exists, and therefore he knows that all the other gods are fakes.
False. Now, would you like to hear the real reason why Christians believe that the God of the Bible is real?
Let's move on to the next subject. Now that
Oh,
we've
you want to
covered that
move
one.
on now? So you're straw man? No, sorry. I'll stay here.
Okay.
Do you want to hear why Christians believe that the God of the Bible is the only true God?
Of course
instead
I
of
do.
your straw
Of
man?
course I do.
Okay, sure. Pay attention.
I'm paying
The
attention.
reason why Christians hold that the God of the Bible is real and the other ones are false is because the God of the Bible demonstrates empirically to be true, to be real.
Where's the
He
empiricism?
makes predictions about real history that we can verify outside of the Bible that actually come true. Other gods and other religions can't do that, or haven't done that, or have been very unsuccessful. They're definitely not 100% correct as the Bible is. So that's why Christians believe that the Bible is true rather than other religions.
Well, that still says that the Christian believes that Christians believe that the Bible is true because the Bible is true.
Because the Bible makes claims that other religions have books too. They have writings, they have prophets.
Yeah, well,
they have writings and prophets as well.
Yeah.
And when they try to tell us what their God is telling them, it's wrong.
Like
our God has never taught us anything in the Bible that's wrong.
You've twice made the claim that your God or your Bible makes claims and predictions that have come true.
That have come true,
but
yes.
You've never once mentioned one claim or prediction that has come true that has been made in the Bible.
Wait, the claim is made in the Bible. If I'm writing a book to prove that I'm a teacher,
no,
you can't say.
Don't straw man yourself, dude.
I'm not straw manning myself.
Stick to the Bible. Stick to
if I'm making a claim. I am sticking to the Bible. It's called an analogy. Try to follow.
I want you to just stick to the Bible. I don't want to go to analogies are bullshit because God lives in a different realm.
Then you don't want to
have
God
lives in a different realm to humans who live in the physical realm.
You don't want to have
so don't give me an analogy in the physical realm for something in the non-physical realm.
Then you don't want to have a conversation because I'm giving you stuff that's in the physical world.
I don't want an analogy that's in the physical realm.
Then you don't want to have a conversation. That's fine.
That's fine, but I don't want it in the physical realm. I want something that I can relate to.
I'm giving you something. That's what an analogy does.
God.
That's what an analogy does.
Your God
it gives you something in reality that you can relate to. Something that's in the real physical world.
I cannot relate to anything.
So the God of the Bible.
Shut up! I cannot relate.
And other religions do not. Okay, and all of those predictions actually come true.
Sorry to do this.
And the predictions or the claims are in the works or the writings of those who are making the claim.
I'm sorry to do this to you, but I cannot relate to anything that you say in the Bible because God does not exist. So when you say you want to bring in an analogy to the real world about God, you can't do that to me because there is no analogy that you can bring in the real world that will include God if God does not exist. Okay, so stop doing that.
Is that an argument, or you just mute people just to ramble on that seem like you actually know what you're talking about?
Well, if
But
you
when it's
heard,
my
if you'd
turn,
have heard what I said, if you'd have heard what I say,
no, I
then
really
if you'd have heard what I said, I will
no.
repeat it until you hear it, because I will
Okay.
not. Okay, you cannot,
Then you don't want to
you
have a
cannot,
conversation with
you
a
can't.
Christian. Then
Just hear me out.
just continue believing what you
Just,
want to believe. Then
Jill, just hear me out, okay?
you don't want to
I
hear me out. Why should I hear you out?
look, I know you're trying to trigger me, and I know you're trying to push my buttons and everything,
But if you don't want to hear the
I,
answers, then why should I
I
hear
want
you out?
to, because I want to have my say, and you can have your say after.
Okay.
All right. What I'm telling you is this: is that in the real world, you cannot bring an analogy of God, because God does not exist. God exists in your imagination, but it doesn't exist. He doesn't exist in my imagination,
That's not an
other than
argument.
as a concept. So don't give me an
You know
analogy
that's not
in the
that's not
real
an argument.
world that includes a God that does not exist. Okay?
That's not an argument, dude. Do you know what an argument is?
I was talking about
Do
your
you know?
analogy. I was talking about your
Do you know what it?
analogy. I was
Right.
talking
Do you
about
know what an
your. I
argument
was
is?
talking about. Do you know what an analogy is?
Do you? Yes, an
Okay. Well,
analogy
my
is a
analogy.
comparison.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
So
I
don't
can
compare
compare things.
something that
I can
exists.
compare things
Don't
that
compare
exist.
something. Don't compare something that exists and insert something that doesn't exist into something that you're trying to compare that exists. Okay?
No, that's not the point of
That's
an
exactly
analogy.
what
You
you're
don't know
doing.
what
That's
you
exactly
don't know
what you're
what an
doing.
analogy is.
That's
You don't
exactly
know what
what
an
you do.
analogy is? Hold up. Wait,
I know
what is an
exactly what
analogy?
analogy. Don't
What is an
bring.
analogy?
Don't
Without
bring.
looking it up. Without looking it up. What is an analogy? Or a metaphor?
I don't have to answer questions like this
All right.
from you. All
Okay.
I can do is tell you
You,
to be respectful, and if you're not going to be respectful, and you're going to
you
be
don't know what an analogy is? It's not my fault. I mean, I can help you with that. I know
okay.
some
Well,
ELA
it's been
teachers I
fun.
can.
It's been fun talking to you.
Okay, you
It's been
done?
fun. Yeah. You.
Yeah.
Okay. See you later. See you later.
All right, done.
I really would like you to leave.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Prepare to die, liberal.
Did you hear what he said? Prepare to die, liberal. Did you hear what he said? Prepare to die, liberal. That's that was Rebuke and Reprove, a Christian fundamentalist who really, really loves you so much that he wants to preach the Bible to you, and when you when you ridicule his Bible for being ridiculous, he leaves with a prepare to die, liberal. And I'm sure he feels pretty good at himself for doing that. I kind of feel smirky myself for having put him in the position that I did, because he kind of backed himself into a corner. He didn't know where to go. So his only tactic, of course, was to filibuster. And I had to fight real hard. It took a lot of energy out of me to defend myself against the Jilly filibuster. But I think I got my point in, where you know what I think I triggered him. What triggered him was when I said, "Don't bring the Bible into it. Let's just prove me that all gods are not imaginary." And he said, "Well, I believe that all gods are imaginary, except for my God, except for one." And then the reason that his God is not imaginary is because it's in the book. The book, it says God is God, and God is not imaginary. That's why I said, don't bring me this book of folklore. I don't want to hear it. I just want to know, if God is imaginary, prove me wrong. And he asked me, what would I like as proof? And I said, I think proof would be, for me, would be for God to have revealed himself personally to every single human being throughout human history. I don't think that's too much to ask of a God that is claimed to be exactly what I expect God to reveal himself to be if I was to have this personal relationship with this being. And that's why I think he lost it. That's why I think he lost the whole argument.